Saw an interesting team on Twitter that was able to win, I believe, a tournament in Japan that featured Klefki and Neuvern. We're going to be trying out and seeing how well it can perform. This is a team that was able to win the 49th new off. That's the Twitter translation. I'm not sure if that's correct, but well, let's break it down. So we have the Klefki, which has been an interesting pick. It actually has been doing decently well in this regulation. Mainly, especially at the beginning, it had a really good role, and the idea for the Klefki is to help against the Sneasler Dragapult because you're immune to Dire Claw, close combat is neutral, and Dragapult basically cannot hit you if they are a physical set. So it's able to wall that set completely and be a pretty good way to set up a Trick Room. Misty Terrain to prevent the Dire Claw situations with the secondary effects. So it's a really interesting Pokemon there. We've actually been able to see it get top 8 at a regional championship recently in Europe as well. So we have the Klefki with that prankster support with the great defensive typing of Steel and Fairy, one of the best combinations in the game. Wide Lens is an interesting tech, and the reason you have Wide Lens is because Metal Sound isn't the most accurate move. It's a move that's able to decrease the opponent's special defense by 2 stages, but it's only 85% accurate. With Wide Lens is about a 93% accuracy, so it is able to be more consistent that way. And you don't really need the light clay because you are only running one screen on this team. You could run maybe like a Citrus Berry. The offer did actually have a team report, which I'll link down below, and did say that you could run something if you're confident you could hit your Metal Sounds, but decided to run Metal Sound because they wanted the more accurate Metal Sound for consistency. Misty Terrain for Amoonguss, for Dire Claw, really great move, helps out against dragon type attacks as well if necessary, but mainly for those statuses. The light screen for the special defense, which is nice against like Rain or Caledon and a bunch of other special attackers like opposing Blood Moon or Ursaluna, really nice. And Trick Room, which is a great tool that Klefki got in this generation and gives it a form of speed control that is in Thunder Wave, so it is a really nice and consistent. Next we have the Ursaluna with the Silk Scarf and the Mind's Eye. Really just here for really strong Hyper Voice and Blood Moons while not sacrificing its bulk with the life orb that we commonly see. That Terra Ghost option to help out again against Sneasler, which is pretty nice, and against fighting moves in general, and just a pretty standard Blood Moon Ursaluna otherwise. Just not take advantage of the normal Terra, but when you pair it up with this Klefki with the Metal Sound combination under Trick Room, it's really able to decimate teams, so you don't even need that extra power from the Terra Normal and the Life Orb that we commonly see. As Metal Sound plus Hyper Voice, you get some really strong knockouts, and that Blood Moon will especially hit hard. Next we have the King Gambit, and this one is running a Defiant set with a Chople Berry, which is interesting, and the offer said that they really wanted an answer to opposing King Gambits, and it was just the best idea to have their own King Gambit. And because King Gambit can run low kick, and you do have it on this team to counter it, you also need a way to make sure that you're not getting low kicked yourself, so why not have that Chople Berry as a defensive tool just in case. The Terra Water to help out against like any fire types out there, really good defensive typing, really just good coverage with low kick, Sucker Punch, the Kowtow, Cleave, and then Quick Guard, which is interesting, but helps out against a few different priority situations, especially like opposing Sucker Punch from King Gambit, so definitely can come into play there. The Primarina with the Liquid Voice and the Throat Spray, able to do quite a bit of damage, again without sacrificing too much bulk. That Terra Dragoness, the defensive typing against electric and grass type moves. Hyper Voice, Moonblast for good coverage. Haze, really specifically, this Primarina helps out against Undoza, which is nice, and can still do pretty well with that Metal Sound combination. With the Hyper Voice and Moonblast can really allow Primarina to sweep some teams. We got Blaziken up next with the Speed Boost with the Focus Sash, and it's really here with the Stellar Terror just to dish out a lot of damage, especially outside of Trick Room or weakened stuff early on. So in the late game, Trick Room is set up, and then the weakened Pokemon, you could just fire off attacks with your Ursaluna and Primarina to pick up the final knockouts. Pretty much great coverage all around the board. Heat Wave, Aura Spear, and Thunder Punch, which is not a move we commonly see. But the reason you have Thunder Punch is really helpful for against Rain, like against Pelipper. The only thing I'm actually confused when I look at this Blaziken actually underspeeds the max speed Pelipper by 1 point. So you would have to detect in order to actually outspeed Pelipper, which I think might be a bit of a concern. And I definitely did have that situation happen before. So I think if I was to edit the Blaziken, I would definitely probably bump up the speed just so I always outspeed a a timid Pelipper at the start, so I can actually go on the offensive with like even a double knockout with like Sucker Punch plus Thunder Punch, or even if I let the Noivern, for instance, might be a bit better. The Noivern is the last Pokemon, and the offer really just said needed a Pokemon that was good against Sun teams, and that Pokemon would be the Noivern with the Dragon Flying type, really good against Lilycole, which is very specific and able to prevent it from being Sleep Powder. It has the Taunt option, some pretty good combinations with the Super Fang, Heat Wave, and Draco Meteor to hit the Lilligant, the Torkoal, resist all the attacks that they usually fire off unless they have a random triple axle on their team. Overall, able to scout for items as well, like if they scout for the Torkoal having choice specs, you can fire off a very confident Draco Meteor and do a lot of damage, which is nice. And safety goggles, of course, to avoid the Sleep Powder. This team is mainly about just getting the Trick Room with the Klefki, getting the setup with the Misty Terrain, the Light Screen if you're able to, depending on like what you need against an opponent. But really, it's just for Trick Room and Metal Sound combinations. The Ursaluna, Blood Moon, the Kingambit, and the Primarina are all slow on this team. Really, it's just meant to go for that really strong damage with that Metal Sound plus Hyper Voice combinations usually, or gain a knockout with like a Blood Moon or Moonblast, which is very powerful. And then the Blaziken can again be a really good way to lead, dish out a lot of damage early. They focus down the Blaziken, then get the Trick Room out with the Klefki, and then you can sweep your Trick Room mons. And then there's also the situational stuff with the Noivern, specifically for that Sun matchup. And yeah, that's how this team mainly functions. It just really likes to be under Trick Room and dish out as much damage as it possibly can with the Primarina and Ursaluna. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. Politoed, Ludicolo, Sinistra, Rillaboom, Archaludon, and Glamora. What a rain team with triple grass. This team, scary. I do really like the Kingambit in the matchup though. Klefki is also pretty good. I think I'm going to do Klefki plus Kingambit. I think it's probably pretty strong here. In the back, do I want to bring Primarina? Good against Politoed. It's really bad against everything else. And I might Terra my Ursaluna. This is tricky. I feel like it is Primarina because Blaziken's really hard to set up here. Because it's against rain. It's not exactly easy. Noivern doesn't have a fly move. If I had a fly move, I would bring it probably. I don't think it's worth it. I think I'm just going to go with the constant trigger mode, which should be safe. But I do have to watch out because they do have 3 grass types. I do not know if we'll see all 3 grass types. I imagine we're going to see at least a Politoed in this matchup. And then we could see all the other grass types come out, but we'll find out. Ludicolo, Politoed, not too surprising. Versus my Kingambit and my Klefki. Kowtow and the Sucker Punch should knock out most Ludicolos, so I'm just going to go for a Light Screen, and I'm going to go for the Kowtow. I could pick guard, but I don't think it's worth it. I'd rather just get the damage off immediately, pressure that Ludicolo, set up a Trick Room if I can. They go for a Fake Out into the Kingambit. Sure, that's fine. As we do get the Light Screen up with the Klefki. What's Politoed going for? What move? Encore. Okay. If I had Trick Room there, that would have been great, but that's acceptable. I think this isn't that bad of a situation. I just switch out, go into Primarina that can take the water type attacks. You're not going to Grass Move the Klefki most likely. Just going to go for a Kowtow into the Ludicolo. And now, pretty safe spot. But Encore, Politoed. You have to watch out for that, but I should be in a pretty decent spot. We are going to bring out my Primarina. Knockoff. Okay, gets rid of my Choppleberry. I'll take it. That's an interesting set. Fake Out knockoff Ludicolo. I'm assuming it's Assault Vest. They have Surf. Is this Absorbable? No, it's not. Okay. I've seen Surf and Absorbable. But alright, we are able to get the Kowtow. It's a Rain Dish Ludicolo. Huh. I'm not really that scared of Rain Dish Ludicolo. I think I'm just going to go for Kowtow and a Politoed because I do need damage on Politoed. The Ludicolo will be in range of Sucker Punch in the later parts of the game. So I think I'm pretty sure I can just safely go for the Kowtow and the Politoed, get some chip. I'm not too worried about Surf damage at the moment. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to say. But I'm in a pretty good spot. Klefki can come back in pretty freely, I'd say. Get the Trick Room up this time around. Energy Ball gonna be fired off. Perfect. I actually wasn't sure if this had a grass move. I would assume an ice move for the dragons, but they go for Encore again into the King Gambit. Sure. I keep clicking Cowtown no matter what. So this works out. It damaged the Politoed, Rain Dish, but like Ludicolo is really not healing too much. Just gonna get my Trick Room up and I'm gonna kowtow the Politoed since Ludicolo really isn't a threat at the moment. And they're probably gonna, are they gonna Encore me or try to Encore my Klefki? Because it's gonna fail. I get the Trick Room up and then I can set up more situations like a Misty Terrain. I can set up a Light Screen potentially if the Light Screen was off this turn. I should have probably checked, but not really too important because really it was only for this Politoed Ludicolo combination and I've already been weakening them a huge amount. Ludicolo gonna retreat into what? Rillaboom, sure. I guess Grassy Terrain Rain Dish, that does give you a lot of recovery if it was Leftovers Ludicolo too. It's not Leftovers Ludicolo, which makes it easier, but sure. Grassy Seedrilla. All right, that is the main threat I have to deal with, and it's probably going to be utilizing my Ursaluna. We're going to see Politoed go for the Protect here. I do want to go for the Metal Sound. I'm going to go for the Metal Sound into the Rillaboom. Because I don't really need to get rid of this Grassy Terrain at the moment. Because it doesn't really hurt me to have the Grassy Terrain. It doesn't usually benefit my opponent at the current state of the game. And I would like to set up the Metal Sound so I can get the KO into Rillaboom later. If one of these Pokemon goes down and I get a free switch. I get Quick Guard, but not really a point because they're faking out the King Gambit most likely if they do, which doesn't really hurt me. The switch is going to be into Archaludon. All right. Metal Sound going to come out into the Rillaboom. No fake out. So we do get some damage into the Archaludon. Not bad damage. Stamina. Okay, good to confirm. High horsepower. Sure. So I do want a Light Screen up. Yeah. King Gambit ends its Encore, so I can go for Low Kick. Light Screen wears off, but I'm setting it right back up. Rillaboom should go down to Hyper Voice. I think all I need is damage in Archaludon. I'm going to go for a Low Kick in Archaludon. Because I get the most damage with the Low Kick. Then it might put in range of the Metal Sound plus Hyper Voice combination. So get the Low Kick. Good damage. Again, building it up for the Ursaluna, I think, to sweep now with Hyper Voice. Electroshock going to be fired off into Klefki or into Gambit. Either one's okay. Yep, into King Gambit. I will take it. And I guess they get a more powerful high horsepower into Klefki, which should be able to tank the attack. But at this point, like, I don't know what to say. I don't think you're taking the attacks well. High horsepower going to be fired off into the Klefki. Yeah, I'm able to tank it extremely well. Go for that Hyper Voice. Go for that Terra Ghost option. I guess the question is, do I KO the Archaludon? But there is a chance Archaludon does Terra because they would be scared of me going for the knockout. I'm pretty sure Hyper Voice will knock out Rillaboom at the very least. I'm going to Metal Sound. I'm going to go for the Hyper Voice with Terra Ghost. If it was Terra Normal, I might actually just be guaranteed to KO the Archaludon even if it's a Assault Vest. But at least with the Hyper Voice combination. But since we're not, we'll see. I don't think I really need to go for the Misty Terrain here. I might go for the Misty Terrain the next turn if Archaludon does have Protect and reveal it. No, I'd actually go for the Misty... No, I'd go for the Metal Sound actually because if they Protect, they reveal that they're not a Assault Vest, which means I just get a free KO into the Archaludon slot assuming I connect the Metal Sound. Well, let's find out. Go for the Terra here. And Terra Ghost will get rid of my grass weakness, will be able to put on pressure, and if they have body press and go for it, if they do survive, that means I am able to dodge it. All right, no Grassy Glide. I do get a Metal Sound off into Archaludon. Nope. Okay. No Terras. Hyper Voice gonna come out. Oh no, they did Grassy Glide. I keep forgetting that Metal Sound was gonna go first. Hyper Voice. Oh, I crit the Arcalon. I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, I am able to knock out the Rillaboom. Arcalon, I have no idea if it matters because I have no idea what the set on Arcalon is. We never actually confirmed. We only confirmed that it was stamina. But that is beautiful. And now I think we should guarantee the game because we can just go for Hyper Voice and we can go for a Metal Sound into the Politoed. I mean, I guess the game's not confirmed because Ludicolo can protect, the Politoed can crit, but they need a lot of things to go right. Ludicolo comes in. Do they survive Hyper Voice at that range? I think with the Silk Scarf, no. Yeah, Primarina in the back, so if we get rid of Ludicolo, we win the game. I'm just gonna Metal Sound a Politoed and I'm gonna go for Hyper Voice. If they go for Double Protect, that's fine. But that would mean your fake out, knockoff, Energy Ball, protect Ludicolo. I think that's very unlikely. So I don't think you have protect on the Ludicolo. You're gonna go for Terra with the Politoed into Terra Grass, which doesn't change anything here, unfortunately, for my opponent. Metal Sound into the Politoed, and Hyper Voice should get that knockout. Yep, just a clean sweep. Ursaluna was just able to clean sweep their team with that Metal Sound support from the Klefki. Beautiful, beautiful. All the damage just built up that I was able to get with the King Gambit. They had a really tough time of getting knockouts, and then was able to set up the Trick Room. Ursaluna was able to come in against a weakened team. Metal Sound allowed me to get more knockouts and exactly what I positioned for, which was excellent. Sceptile, Swampert, Sarilege, Tyranitar, Sinistra, and Corviknight. Sceptile and Swampert. Pledge? I'd say it's probably Pledge on this team. Okay, I do have Trick Room, which I'm okay with in this matchup. I think Klefki is definitely being brought here. Who am I partnering it with, though? Grass Pledge. King Gambit's pretty good as a lead in general against most of the things. Blaziken can do quite a bit of work, but I'm not exactly sure. I think I want to go to Trick Root on this team. I could also go with Noivern, but I can't remember off the top of my head who's faster between Sceptile and Noivern. Which probably isn't the most reliable strategy here. Also, Noivern's only good against really Sceptile. That's really it. Yeah, I think I'll do Klefki plus King Gambit. I think it's a pretty good lead for this team in general. The only thing that's really threatening is the Sarilege immediately, but I have plenty of answers with Primarina and Blood Moon Ursaluna in the back. I also can play out with the Terra Water. I have Chapel Berry for the low kick on Tyranitar. I have my own low kick that can threaten the Tyranitar, which would be really nice. So let's see. A lot of this is just trying to figure out, okay, what are they going to lead? Because I don't know if they're going to go with the Pledge mode or not. I just want to do as much damage as I possibly can under the Trick Room. Corviknight and Sarilege, which is fine actually, as I do lead the Klefki and the King Gambit. I have Primarina in the back for haze, so I don't have to worry about the Corviknight nearly as much. I'm just going to go for my Trick Room, and I'm going to go for the Kowtow immediately into the Sarilege. I just need as much damage as I can. Sarilege especially, that Pokemon is a big threat. And then next turn I could switch out like my Klefki into Primarina, assuming it's able to hang on the turn, which I think I'll be able to live maybe one Bitter Blade, but I think they just go for the bulk up if they have it. I think bulk up makes a lot of sense here, and then you want to go for the Bitter Blade to get all the recovery back. Let's find out. They protect. Okay, I guess the Scout? Please tell me it's not Taunt Corviknight. Please tell me it's not Taunt Corviknight. Body Press. Okay, I do have the Chapel Berry for a reason. So Chapel Berry, King Gambit, able to eat up that attack extremely well. I think we would have hanged on anyway without a Chapel Berry easily, but Kowtow into the Sarilege, and we will go for a Trick Room. Now, I don't need Light Screen up yet. I think I want to get in my Primarina as offensive pressure against the Corviknight. If they're not setting up, I'm going to just bring it in. And yeah, they don't have a switch to Kowtow other than Tyranitar, which doesn't appreciate my Primarina, so just gonna go for Kowtow. I could go for low kick, but it's not necessary. They could Terra to Sarilege, which is completely fine as well. So We'll see what they can offer. I do really, again, a lot of this is trying to force a Terra as quick as possible. If that is a case, because Sailage might be forced to Terra here. I would like if Corviknight Terra'd, but I don't think that's going to happen. So a lot of this is just like trying to prevent maybe like the Tyranitar from going for the Terra flying if they Terra the Sailage, which is okay by me. But let's see. Klefki going to switch out. I do want to reposition, and Light Screen Metal Sound is not helping here against the Mirror Armor Corviknight. We got the Primarina. There is a Terra. Okay. So they can't Terra whatever's in the back, so I don't have to worry nearly as much about it. We're going to see the Terra on the Sailage into Terra Grass. Not as ideal, but still pretty acceptable. All right. So Kowtow should do like what? Like 50? No, maybe like 40%. No, 50. Okay. Brayber gonna come out into the King Gambit in case I switched, I suppose. Is this for Bitterblade? They do Bitterblade double up. Okay, that's fine. So I'm okay with the Bitterblade double up because that means I did get a free switch into my Blood Moon Ursaluna. Granted, that is a lot of damage I did take, but I can start stacking up against the Corviknight. We are going to go out into Ursaluna Blood Moon. They might protect on a Blood Moon, so I'd rather just go for a Hyper Voice, like double Hyper Voice straight up, get my Throat Spray active, and then I can threaten the Blood Moon afterward into the Sailage. So let's just go for Hyper Voices. Just these Pokemon can do the talking, do all the singing while we figure out how we handle the back, because we're probably not going to be able to break through their entire team through Trick Room. Corviknight's going to take a few turns to handle. They do have a switch into Tyranitar if they do want to cover for a Blood Moon as well. So just go for some Hyper Voices, probably on Sailage Protect, and Corviknight does whatever. Maybe Brave Bird here. Maybe they go for a Bulk Up. If they go for Bulk Up, that's probably more ideal. Yeah, as they Protect easily. So should get some good damage in a Corviknight at least. Like I'd say I'm probably doing at least 40% to Corviknight this turn. The Hyper Voice does about like 15, 20-ish Hyper Voice. If we can threaten the Corviknight the next turn, that'd be super ideal. Actually, that did more damage than I thought with the Hyper Voice from the Primarina. It might be in range of another one, so I could go for maybe Hyper Voice plus Blood Moon, which would be really ideal. They Brave Bird the Primarina. Not for much damage, but the Corviknight now is pressured by the Hyper Voice, and there's no reason not to just click Hyper Voice and Blood Moon here. I guess I could go Sinistra, but I don't know if Sinistra is going to give you enough HP to survive another Hyper Voice. Based on the damage, like what? The Sinistra gives you 25%? Like the first Hyper Voice did like 40%, so I imagine it at least is going to do like 55-ish, if depending on rolls. But let's see. Okay. Good turn. Good turn. Like Blood Moon Hyper Voice is also going to threaten a lot of damage to Tyranitar too. If it's Assault Vest, it probably hangs on, but we still have another turn of Trick Room to really just threaten the damage. So no protects. Okay. Blood Moon into the Sailage just picks up the knockout, and a single target Hyper Voice will knock out Corviknight. So a fantastic turnaround, but the question is, what is in the back? Because that's going to be a good one. Hyper Voice is going to knock out the Corviknight. Their Terra's gone. I still have Terra on my side to play around, so a lot of this is just going to come down to the back two that they have on their side. Also, do they have protects? Because I still have one more turn of Trick Room. Sinistra reveals itself. And that is not Tyranitar. That's Swampert coming in. Interesting. Okay. I can go for Moonblast plus Hyper Voice, and or Moonblast Earth Power into Swampert, and that would pick up the knockout, I think. I am tempted to Terra Dragon here. I could also Terra Ghost to Ursaluna. That also works. They have no light screen turns. I could double up the Sinistra, but I just can't pick up the knockout on a Sinistra. Actually, maybe I could. Hyper Voice and the Moonblast might get him. I'm a bit worried about Wide Guard, but I think that's worth playing around. You know what? I'm going to go for the Hyper Voice, and I'm going to go for Moonblast. Let's see if we have Wide Guard or not. All right, no Wide Guard, no protects. Hyper Voice, so much damage. Wait, why did Hyper Voice do that much damage? Moonblast going to easily knock out the Sinistra +1. The Sinistra goes down. Swampert, what are you doing here? Earth Power, okay. Like Sinistra doesn't carry protect usually, which is why I felt like it was okay doubling up since the Ursaluna was moving before the Primarina. The Hyper Voice I thought wasn't going to trigger Citrus Berry, and then I thought Moonblast at +1 would have just picked up the knockout. Like I was expecting Hyper Voice to do like maybe 40-45% to this Sinistra, and then Earth Power would finish, or Moonblast would finish it off with the +1. But yeah, not what I expected, but we'll definitely take it. I'm going for the Blood Moon into the Swampert with the Terra Ghost, because Terra Ghost should cover, like, if they have Muddy Water on the Swampert, and I don't want Muddy Water affecting it here. Like a Muddy Water crit. Life Orb Swampert is also interesting. I wonder if they're offensive Sinistra, because I did so much damage to a Sinistra. I feel like that should not be the normal damage I do. They do have Water Pledge, so yeah, it is definitely a pledge team. I guess it's Torn, because that was a lot of damage. I guess then again, I don't have Light Screen, and this isn't the Salva's Blood Moon or Ursaluna either, but we are able to finish off the Swampert with the knockout. So pretty nice. Was able to set up a great Trick Room with Klefki against their team, and yeah, was super safe for the most part. They didn't attack my Klefki, let me get the free Trick Room, forced their Terra hand, and then afterward was able to just keep on the pressure with Primarina and Ursaluna under Trick Room. Rillaboom, Incineroar, Politoed, Archaludon, Annihilate, and Mousehold. All right, we have Mouseape, we have Rain with Archaludon, we have Rillaboom, Incineroar combo. Let's see. I'm kind of surprised it's not Pelipper on this team, because I feel like they would really appreciate a flying type here. But okay, how do I want to approach this? Mouseape is weird for this team. I think it's probably just lead the Blood Moon Ursaluna plus Klefki, which I don't think is awful. Unless they lead the Rain mode immediately, which isn't ideal, but I could probably play around it. In the back, my brain King Gambit is the question, because I don't even like King Gambit too much, but it's like good against Archaludon, and Kowtow's is pretty good damage. I might have to bring it alongside Primarina. Let's see. It's a tough one. I do think that this is going to be a pretty tough one. I would like to say I can get the KOs with Blood Moon, but that's a good question. That is going to be a good question. Because I'm really just worried about, like, are they going to go with the Mouseape or the... Okay, Mouse or Archaludon lead? I'm okay with that. I have Terra Ghost and the Blood Moon, so you know what? I'm gonna go for a Earth Power right into Archaludon, and I'm just gonna go for Trick Room. If they go for Terra Grass, so be it. That's okay too. But if they give me the opportunity to, I will go for that Trick Room, and I'll go for the Earth Power, and it's safe against Population Bomb. It's safe against the Body Press Strat. Let's see. This is gonna be... Oh, Mouse retreats. What? I'm surprised they didn't build up the stamina. Rillaboom coming in. All right, that's acceptable. Is that Pelipper back? Or is it Annihilate? Or not Pelipper, Politoed. They do Terra, which is fine, because I could have Blood Mooned, but I didn't really want to with the Mouse available. We're gonna see the Terra come out. Gonna be the Terra Stellar Terra. Oh, this could be bad. Is this still our Draco Meteor, or is this Electroshot with the Power Herb into Klefki? All right, we do Terra here with our Ursaluna. Please, I'm hoping for... I mean, I don't even know what to hope for at this point. Okay, Terra Ghost. It did Electroshot. I'm assuming this is the Klefki, and this is... Well, actually, no, because I get the Earth Power and Archaludon. That's actually big damage because they don't resist the Earth Power. Unless they Electroshotted my Ursaluna on a crazy read, which I doubt. Okay, Klefki hanging on is incredible because I get the Earth Power off into Archaludon. Sturdy Archaludon, all right. As we are able to get Trick Room up. That is a fantastic turn. Oh my goodness, that's a fantastic turn. Okay, awesome. Because now I can go for a Metal Sound and a Hyper Voice, and I can't really get punished. So really clutch there, Klefki. I could also go for Misty Terrain if I want to. But I like the idea of that metal sound into the Rillaboom in case they try to go like mouse hold. Also, I like more damage into the Rillaboom than anything. They're going to switch out Arcadon. If this is mouse hold, really good play on their part, and they do go mouse hold. All right, they're going to get the Friend Guard for the Rillaboom, but I'm still going to do massive damage with the metal sound plus the Hyper Voice combination. That's a really good pairing. And then afterward, because they probably Wood Hammered here if they didn't go for Grassy Glide. Yeah, they did. Wood Hammer should be able to tank. Yeah, really able to tank, actually. That did less than I thought. I was thinking, oh, they could Wood Hammer, put me in Grassy Glide range, but then I could go for a Misty Terrain to prevent the Grassy Glide from being priority, and now I can just go for that Hyper Voice. Very safe. And we're going to go for Misty Terrain. So they can't get a priority Grassy Glide off, and then I just Hyper Voice. And I just keep clicking Hyper Voice. Oh, man. This is incredible. Okay, this is incredible. Really good position. Really good position. Granted, we still probably have to deal with Politoed because Mouse is probably going to protect here. Yep. That's fine. As we get the Misty Terrain off, so we make sure that A, less healing on the Mouse hold, although it does affect our Ursaluna, but Grassy Glide would have been priority, and I do want to avoid that. So here comes the Hyper Voice into the Rillaboom at -2. We saw how much damage it did before, and it's enough to pick up the knockout. Then, what are the last two? What are the last two? Annihilate. Okay. So I think I always Earth Power the Mouse. The problem is this ape could still get a bit out of hand, but as long as I don't attack it, I should be fine because Rage Fist isn't going to do any crazy amounts of damage. So I can Earth Power KO the Mouse hold. The question is, what am I doing with you? I don't think I want to reverse Trick Room. Oh. Interesting. Okay. I'm pretty sure that I was going to have a really good endgame sealed because of the fact that I had Primarina round of Haze. I wasn't going to attack the Annihilate at all. I was just going to keep going for Earth Powers into that Mouse hold slot. Either we KO Mouse hold, unless it gets lucky with multiple protects. They could, I guess, sack the Arcadon there, protect Mouse hold again, but even still, like, they also have to worry because I do still have to threat a Metal Sound Blood Moon if I catch them playing passively, but nice. Indeedee, Armarouge, Ursaluna, Torkoal, the Sneasler, and Gallade. It really slaps Sneasler on anything, even hard Trick Room, huh? Alright. I think matchup's okay-ish. At least this version of Side Spam seems a lot easier to control because I do have Klefki with Light Screen as well as Misty Terrain, which can help a lot here. I probably just want to lead Armor, the Primarina plus the Klefki. I think it's super safe. I should be able to build up some pretty heavy damage. I can get rid of the Psychic Terrain pretty easily. And in the back, this is where it gets tough. I don't think I bring King Gambit. I think I definitely bring Ursaluna. I guess it's Blaziken. I don't really like the Noivern in this. It doesn't really do too much. If I had flying coverage, like maybe, because I could actually hit the Gallade, I could hit the Sneasler, but just Draco Meteor by itself, it's not really worth it. So let's see what we can do. Like, Blaziken has a Focus Sash, so it's guaranteed to survive at least one hit, which is the big point of bringing Blaziken here. It's also a good revenge cleaner. All right, what are you leading? Are you just leading Indeedee plus Armarouge, or are you leading Indeedee plus something else? Indeedee Gallade works. Okay. Against Primarina and the Klefki. I have Trick Room up, so I can reverse Trick Room. I don't want Psycho Cut doing a huge amount of damage, so I'm just going to go for a Misty Terrain right off the bat. And I'm just going to fire off a Hyper Voice, get my Throat Spray active. I see a Terra come out immediately, which I guess they want to Terra away from a super effective Moonblast. Okay. Terra Grass. As long as this isn't Leaf Blade, I'm okay. Don't be Leaf Blade. Misty Terrain. All right, let's see the speed order. Who's faster, Primarina, or is it the Gallade? Gallade's faster than Primarina, so I'm actually going to be better in Trick Room. Hyper Voice. Good damage. All right. Get the throat spray active, and the entity gonna go for the trick room. All right. Not a terrible turn. I can go for a reverse trick room here, and I can go for a moonblast. I think I'm gonna moonblast the Gallade. Is entity gonna swap out? I'm not sure, but I don't see a reason not to just moonblast the Gallade. The entity is gonna retreat. Do you have a safe switch though? Do you want to go Torkoal in this spot? Armarouge. Okay. The Armarouge is brought out. They go for Wide Guard to prevent Hyper Voice. Okay, that's really good for me because I did go for a Moonblast into the Gallade. And that is a good amount of damage, and the Trick Room is reversed. Okay. Not terrible, not bad at all. Although it could be still a bit awkward here. Because they did use their Terra, but Armor is just a weird speed interaction, I suppose. I think I'm just going to set up a light screen. This is Psycho Cut again. I don't really have a play that prevents this. I'm actually thinking of going out into my Blaziken and going to go for the Protect with my Primarina. The reason is I don't think you're going to go Entity. I don't know if you're going to attempt to go for a Trick Room. You might go for a Heat Wave plus a Psycho Cut because you saw that the Primarina was slower than your Gallade on the first turn. They go for a Psycho Cut into the Primarina. All right. It's a Trick Room. Oh, they did Armor Cannon. Okay, perfect. So Blaziken's able to switch in decently. It's faster than the Gallade, so I should always be able to get an Aura Spear off. So I will go for the Aura Spear and the Gallade. I think I Moonblast the Armor since it's at -1 on its defenses. I could have Hyper Voice, but I do expect Wide Guard on the Gallade coming out. Like, I would Wide Guard with the Gallade and attempt to Trick Room if I was them. Unless they don't have Trick Room on the Armouge, which I think you should. Yeah, you do go for the Wide Guard. I could have doubled up the Armouge, but I don't know if that would pick up the Knockout. I kind of doubt it. I go for the Aura Spear into the Gallade, pick up that Knockout. All right. The rest of the turns are still going to be a bit spooky, but it's manageable. Moonblast into the Armouge. Good damage. Special attack drops are actually really nice. That's really nice. Trick Room goes up. Are you going to go Torkoal or are you going to go Indeedee here? That's my question. If you go Torkoal, I sack probably the Blaziken to get in Klefki. And then I get a light screen up. Yeah, that would be ideal. It is Torkoal, yeah. I'm just hoping that I didn't mess this up majorly, but I do think the play here is to go for a Aura Spear. The Torkoal, I guess. It doesn't really matter too much. And I'm going to go for a Hype, and I go for Protect. We want Primarina around because with Light Screen, I might be able to live one Torkoal attack. I think it depends heavily on if the Armouge actually underspeeds or outspeeds my Primarina. I think you should probably outspeed under Trick Room. No Terra, because they Terra'd the Gallade. Eruption's gonna come out. Oops, I hit my mic. I do want to Terra Water my Klefki Meteor Beam. Okay. I don't think that changes much. So Meteor Beam, Expanding Force, Armor Cannon, Trick Room should be the set, so it doesn't have Protect. AC terrain disappears from the battlefield. We go out into Klefki. We're gonna go for Terra Water Now I could Trick Room or I could Light Screen immediately. I kind of like the idea of Light Screen immediately because I don't think Torkoal can knock out my Ursaluna. I'm pretty sure that Primarina is going down here. So my idea here is I set up the Light Screen with the Klefki, go out into Ursaluna, then I click Hyper Voice and go for a Trick Room. And I think that can work, but we'll see. So we get the Light Screen off with my Klefki. I also want to see, are you specs on the Torkoal? I don't think you are. Okay, that's going to add another element of mind games. We're going to see the Expanding Force come out into the Marina, picks up the knockout. All right, Blood Moon is in. It shouldn't be Wide Guard on the Armorge. The Armorge is at... I just got to go for Metal Sound and I got to go for Hyper Voice. Please don't go Indity here on... It's fine if you go Indity on the Torkoal. Actually, it is fine if you go into Torkoal slot, but ideally you don't switch either and I just get a Metal Sound Hyper Voice to KO the Torkoal and the Armorge this turn. Nice. All right, Metal Sound into Torkoal. So now it is -2 special defense. Eruption's going to come out, but we should be able to tank with Ursaluna. Nice. Hyper Voice is able to eliminate the Torkoal and the Armorge, and now we should be able to beat the Indity because we should be able to get a Misty Terrain up. Oh. Ooh, I have to solve that puzzle. Like, I think they just wanted to play aggressive in case the Blood Moon had speed, because they knew with Light Screen that they weren't knocking out my Ursaluna, but the Ursaluna's min speed, so that actually gave me an advantage here. Indity comes in with that Psychic Terrain, but we should be pretty safe here. At least I'm pretty sure that Blood Moon should KO. It's the last turn of Trick Room, so I don't think I can afford to protect or anything. I think I just got a Misty Terrain, get rid of that Psychic Terrain, and we go for a Blood Moon. At worst, we don't KO with the Blood Moon, and then the Psychic doesn't KO Ursaluna because we got rid of the Psychic Terrain, plus we have Light Screen still available. But I think we KO with Blood Moon, with Silk Scarf. Indity goes down. Oh, thank goodness, man. Thank goodness. Maneuvering Trick Room is always just a bit of a pain. Even with the Klefki, because of how much offense, if I get one turn wrong, it just absolutely will screw me over. But I got like most of the turns right, especially with that Metal Sound combination, gained that double knockout. If Indity swapped in, either A, Ursaluna took no damage, or B, like, I guess the only way it would have been bad is if they went the Indity for the Armored slot, but I thought it was like a lot less likely to. I thought they would just go for the damage output, and luckily I was right. Golden Go, Pelipper, Incineroar, the Archaludon, Basculegion, and Amoonguss. All right, a Rain team that is scary. Like, the Archaludon's always going to be a scary option here. I do like... I don't have the best answers to the Rain team in general. I want to bring... I kind of want to bring Blaziken. Blaziken Klefki sounds actually pretty okay here as a lead. I do want my Trickermons in the back. I have no idea if I'm able to get Trickermon up against this team though. Rain is definitely a concerning thing for this team because sure, we have Light Screen, but we take too much damage to that Light Screen. A double up might knock out the Klefki if I don't get Light Screen up. And then usually you just take damage so you get knocked out to the double up, and then it's just hard to threaten Rain. So we'll see if we can beat Rain. I'm hoping we can do something with our Blaziken. Like, yeah, this is Pelipper Archaludon. That's not too surprising. Against my Blaziken and the Klefki. The Protect usually is a very obvious play from Blaziken, so I'm kind of curious if they would read that and double up the Klefki, and if that's the case, I'd be able to go for a Fake Tears into, or Metal Sound into an Aura Spear. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna risk it. They switch out the Pelipper, which is amazing. Incineroar? Oh, Amoonguss. Okay, that works. That works. They Terra Archaludon, but I should still get some good damage, and if it's Terra Grass, that means I can Heat Wave, probably knock out the next turn. Flying? Why are you flying? Oh. Well, that didn't work. Metal Sound into our Khaled. I wonder if we could get good damage to the Mungus with Heat Wave. We're faster than our Khaled. Our Khaled is definitely really bulky. Terra Flying Terra Blast into Blaziken? What? Oh, I'm really regretting not going for the Heat Wave. Oh, what? I don't know what that was about, but all right. I'm going to go for my Misty Terrain, I suppose, so I don't get spored. Our Khaled, I'm going to retreat here, sure. Into Pelipper, that's fine. I wonder if I can get Ursaluna in under Trick Room, because I don't have to worry about the Amoonguss with Misty Terrain set up. That would be pretty nice, actually. Okay. They do spore my Klefki. All right. You expect Thunder Punch? I would probably not expect Thunder Punch, and I don't think you're going to Rage Powder. I'm going to go for Thunder Punch into Pelipper, and I'm just going to set up a Trick Room. This is probably Weather Ball into Klefki, and they actually Rage Powdered. I'm surprised. Because I didn't think you would expect like a potential electric move. But I mean, this works for me, I suppose. They get the knockout of my Blaziken, but I do get Primarina in. I can go for Light Screen and I can go for Hyper Voice. And with the Throat Spray, I'll do quite a bit of damage. I just don't know if they're Clear Smog, which I think they probably are on this team. I don't want to go Ursaluna and be forced to Terra here, because I would like to not use my Terra if I don't have to at the moment. I'm just going to go for a Hyper Voice, and I'm going to set up my Light Screen to take the Clear Smogs, take the Hurricanes better, and then I can focus on going for the Metal Sound combinations. Hyper Voice in Rain with Metal Sound combination sounds really scary to them. They do not have the best switches. I'm going to Rage Powder. Are they trying to Rage Powder to Metal Sound? I mean, it works for me. Light Screen going to be set up. I can't get confused, thankfully, thanks to the Misty Terrain, and then I can go for Metal Sound plus Hyper Voice. Yeah, like good damage to Pelipper in the rain. Here comes a Throat Spray active. I don't know if we're knocking out a Moongus. I guess that's a question. We'll figure it out. Hurricane going to come out into the Primarina. Yeah, we just take it so well. And we can go for a Hyper Voice once again. We can go for the Metal Sound. We're going to target down the Amoonguss. Okay. Pretty good turns. They go for Wide Guard, which is fine, because if they're not attacking with the Pelipper, like, what are they going to do? Are they going to go for a All Puff in the Pelipper? That's fine by me. Yeah, that's fine. Did they get back to full? No, they barely missed the full. I think I'm just going to Metal Sound to Pelipper, and I'm just going to Hyper Voice. Unless this is the last time Misty Terrain, then I'll reset the Misty Terrain and Moonblast. Rain stops, which is fine. Yeah, I'm just going to go for Hyper Voice, and I'm just going to go for Metal Sound into the Pelipper. If they want to spam Wide Guard, that's acceptable. I guess if a Moongus retreats, it's not so ideal, but they got to be worried about like a Moonblast here, right? They got to be worried about potential Moonblast coming out into like one of the slots in a Metal Sound, because it's pretty safe for me to go for it. I'm going for Hyper Voice because I'm not expecting a Wide Guard anymore, but we'll find out. Our Khaled is still looking a bit rough. We do see the Pelipper retreat, so this is really good for me. Okay. Legion. I mean, I still get a really good Hyper Voice off. You go for Rage Powder. Okay, that makes sense. I'm going to get really good damage to the Amoonguss with Hyper Voice at least. Metal Sound once again into that Amoonguss. -4, if I think. I don't think I knock out the Amoonguss though. Yeah, I barely missed a knockout on Amoonguss. I crit the Basket Legion too. Okay. Misty Terrain disappears from the battlefield. Let's see here. I want to go for Misty Terrain for sure. Do I want a Hyper Voice? I guess I just Hyper Voice. Actually, do I? Last turn of Trick Room. I think my play actually here is to protect Primarina and go for a Misty Terrain. The reason I'm going to go for this play is because I could see like this being a Rage Powder plus a Last Respect in the Primarina. If they get the last respect into Primarina, it gets a little bit awkward. Oh, they hard switched Amoonguss into Pelipper. I hope that means Basculegion is protecting, but I have no clue. Because I was debating about Moonblasting the Basculegion, but I really didn't want that last respect coming out. All right. Go for the protect with the Primarina. Okay, they protect the Basculegion as well. Might come down to Klefki, but I think... No, this is okay. This is absolutely okay. Because they don't have any Pokemon that are knocked out, which means last respect is not doing any damage. I can go for Terra Water with Klefki to be able to tank the attacks. And they're probably going to go for Wave Crash with Basculegion, I'd say. I'm going to go for the Trick Room with the Terra Water and Moonblast to Pelipper. Because unless they Wave Crash my Primarina and Hurricane, which that's going to be close. I have no idea if that knocks out the Primarina. I feel like they're just going to go for Weather Ball Wave Crash into Klefki to try and deny Trick Room and then get the... Oh, they flip turn. Okay, that works. Sure. They take Life Orb Chip, which is nice. We are going to see a swap. And then I still threaten with Metal Sound, so that is the idea here. Amoonguss, okay. And Weather Ball into the Klefki. Okay, it works out. Wait, did I go for a double? No, I didn't go for a double protect. I thought I did for a second, but no. Moonblast into Pelipper does pick up the knockout at +1. And now we threaten the heavy damage with our Fake Tear or Metal Sound plus Hyper Voice combination. Light Screen wears off. I don't think I need it anymore because it's only really Arcalon again, unless the Amoonguss has an attack here. We're going to see the Arcalons come in. I'm just always clicking Metal Sound plus a... I just clicked Metal Sound here plus Hyper Voice. Wait, did they Terra? Yeah, they Terra the Arcalon, so they can't Terra the Basculegion to water. We go for the Hyper Voice. We go for the Metal Sound here into Arcalon. They should Rage Powder always and go for Electroshot. Yep. But if I knock out Amoonguss, this works too. Because Hyper Voice should do a lot of damage to the Arcalon since it's +1 in rain. Put in range of not Basculegion, into range of the Ursaluna's Hyper Voice. Like you see, we do so much damage to the Arcalon. The Amoonguss goes down. But at this point, I'm pretty sure Ursaluna will sweep under the Trick Room. So Electroshock going to be fired off. I think the only way I lose is Aqua Jet crit into my... I think it's only Aqua Jet crit. Oh, wait, they target the Klefki. Oh, then they 100% lose then. I'm actually really shocked that they target the Klefki. But that works out huge for me. I don't think you could really ignore Primarina as a threat. So Basculegion is going to come in. I still have Trick Room turns. I just go for Hyper Voices. Arcalon's Assault Vest, so it can't protect. And then if Basculegion protects, it's just a 2v1 because I get to knock on Arcalon. Yeah, like even if they knocked out Primarina, I just go for a Metal Sound and a Hyper Voice in the Basculegion. Like the difference is that they actually had a Klefki on the field, which doesn't have an attacking move. So like they could crit my bear to win the game, but because now I have 2 threats on the field that are offensive, I can just guarantee to win here. So I just go for a double Hyper Voice. Basculegion I'm going to protect, but I think that's a guaranteed loss right here anyway, because it just stemmed to the prior turn of not knocking out the Primarina and then going for your Aqua Jet crit out. But yes, beautiful. Goodbye Arcalon. We'll get a Hyper Voice off into the protect, but now we can go for... Well, I'm just going to click Moonblast and I'm going to click Hyper Voice. There's no spread move that Basculegion gets that becomes a good spot like Surf. I get to knock out an Ursaluna, but it's not knocking out the Primarina at this healthy range. So yeah, we were just able to actually continue putting on the pressure, which was absolutely incredible. All the setups were necessary. The light screen, the misty terrain, the Trick Room, and the Metal Sound. All 4 of those moves were so crucial in this because Metal Sound allowed me to build up damage, especially into that Amoonguss, and really threaten the heavy knockouts. The misty terrain preventing the spores from the Amoonguss. The Trick Room, of course, really necessary for the speed control. And yes, that was huge. Dundozo Tatsugiri, the Armored Entity Male, Slacking and Wheezing. This is going to be a tough one. This is going to be a tough one. They're probably not going to go with at least the Dundozo Tatsugiri mode because I do have Primarina that does threats and haze, so they do have to respect it. I do have Tailwind on my I don't have Tailwind on my Noivern. I do have Super Fang though, which could come in clutch here. I think this is a game with no Klefki, but I really like Misty Terrain here. And I mean, really like it. Oh, I feel like I want it. I feel like I want to bring it. There's a lot I could do here. Am I bringing Noivern to this? I feel like Noivern is decent, but it also might be a trap because if I bring Noivern and they lead, I feel like they should just lead Slacking plus Wheezing. Maybe I should bring Blood Moon actually and go for the Terra Blood Moon. Terra Blood Moon also works because it's good against Slacking and Wheezing combination. Actually, yeah, I'm going to bring Blood Moon. Blood Moon. I think Noivern. And then in the back, I like the Klefki and I like the Primarina. Let's try it out. I don't really like the Entity Armorage mode. That's going to be the scary part. If they lead it, it's going to be terrifying, but I feel like Slacking Wheezing makes so much sense. I don't think they're going to go with Dundozo, but we'll see. Going to be the lead of Slacking plus the Wheezing. Excellent. Okay. Really good. Now I'm going to be able to threaten quite a bit of heavy damage right off the bat. I can go for a Blood Moon if I want to. Also, Blood Moon... I mean, Blood Moon Ursaluna is pretty bulky. Do I have to Terra? Terra might be nice, though. Trying to think if there's a better Terra, but there's not really like a Terra I want. Yeah, there's not really a Terra I want. I'm just going to go for Blood Moon into the Slacking. And I'm going to go for a... I want to taunt Super Fang. I wish I had Tailwind on this. Actually, you know what? I'm going to Terra Ghost, I'm going to Hyper Voice, and I'm going to Super Fang the Slacking. I don't really need to taunt the Wheezing. I don't expect them to Terra on their side because they have no reason to go for like a Terra Ghost with their Slacking. I could see Protect on the Wheezing. I could see like them just fire off an attack. I don't want to waste a Blood Moon if I don't have to. And even if I miss a knockout to Slacking, there's a chance that... I don't think they target Noivern. I think they're going to always target the Blood Moon. Yeah, like they protect the Wheezing, which is actually really ideal. So next turn, I can go for like a Heat Wave plus a Hyper Voice or Heat Wave plus Earth Power and pin it. So I get really good damage into the Slacking. They go for the Double Edge actually into Noivern. But that means they take the recoil and then Noivern goes, or the Slacking goes down. Huh. Okay, that works. That works beautifully for me. Hyper Voice into the Slacking. All right, we will take it. Granted, I could have not used my Terra, but again, my Terra is really... It does allow them to plan out this matchup better, but it's not really benefiting me. I'm gonna go out into... Am I going to Klefki? I feel like I go Klefki. I'm thinking Primarina, but like, okay, what would they bring? Armourouge in? If they bring Armourouge, this could be like an indie play, which means I would want Light Screen. So I'm going to go out into my Klefki. Yeah, it's Armourouge. Okay, so yeah, they don't have the... Perfect. So this works out huge in my favor. The reason I make this play is because I'm giving them a choice. They can go for a switch to Entity, and if they switch to Entity, I can go for a Light Screen with the Prankster active. They protect Armourouge. It's weird, but I can still play, I suppose. I should outspeed Weezing unless they have a lot of speed and get Light Screen up. I'm going for Blood Moon, and I'm going for Light Screen, because I also want to cover for Armourouge Terra. I think Light Screen's better than me going for Misty Terrain. Misty Terrain's not too important at the moment. Oh, they just go for a Heat Wave straight up. Okay. Get a Light Screen up with the Klefki. Interesting. Heat Wave on the Wheezing is not what I anticipated. Don't tell me your Focus Sash Armourouge. Okay, armors goes down. Beautiful. That was not what I expected. I did not think A, the Weezing was having heat wave, and B, yeah, I thought I'd be faster with my threat. Oh no. Oh no. Wait, they have a Billy Shield though, because they're locked in without any psychic terrain. Wait, that works out for me. Okay, wait, hold on. This actually works out for me. I'm gonna Hyper Voice and Protect, I guess, because they gotta respect the Ursaluna. We're gonna see a Terra from their side. What is their Terra? Indity? No, the Weezing. Terra Ghost. Okay, that doesn't really change. Oh, wait, that does make them immune to my normal type attacks because of the ability being shut off. We will go for Protect with our Ursaluna. Shadow Ball. Oh, that's not good. Oh, also, I just realized I don't have... Oh my goodness, I keep forgetting. Wait, if it's only Heat Wave on Weezing, can they beat Primarina? I messed up because I forgot about the... I mean, I do get my Throat Spray active, which is nice. Because now Moonblast is definitely KOing. But I forgot that my Liquid Voice was shut off. But this works, actually. Because I was scared of, like... I was scared of Terra's Psychic Expanding Force. That's why I went for Protect. But no, this works. I can go for Earth Power in the Weezing. I can just Moonblast Indity. Because if it's only the attacking move is Heat Wave, I don't think they can win with the Weezing. Also, Shadow Ball didn't KO my Ursaluna because of the light screen. Heat Wave going to come out, so they doubled. Sure. They crit my Ursaluna, which is whatever. Ursaluna goes down, but if the Weezing is no Sludge Bomb, I am able to win. Moonblast will KO the Indity. Gonna go ahead, didn't matter. Or +1. Alright, comes down to the Weezing set. Comes down to the Weezing set. Let's Moonblast. Oh, they have Sludge Bomb! And they crit. Okay. Oh, we lose. Okay, so they really just told me. Oh my goodness. All right. So the crit only matters depending... Wait, did we see Weezing Protect? Weezing did Protect, right? It Protect turn 1. I don't think the crit mattered in the long term, though. Because the thing is, they go for the... I only have one turn of light screen left. They probably don't protect the Weezing. The Sludge Bomb wasn't doing anywhere near the amount of damage, but I'm kind of worried about the Sludge Bomb afterward, after light screen ended, and it might have been able to pick up the knockout, but maybe Primarina was able to survive? I don't think it was likely, though. It has good spit depth, but I just don't think it lives the first Sludge Bomb into the second. Even without the light screen and the crit. I don't know. I just don't think it does, so that's just on me. I think the turn that screwed me over was I was not anticipating Heat Wave on the Weezing. So I felt like, oh, I'm pretty much just always safe here. I'd be able to go for this easy combination of just getting a light screen up. Most likely the Weezing death was fast too, because it the thing that was screwing me over was the fact that Weezing had Heat Wave, because I thought my Klefki was going to be around, so I could still go for, like, you know, I'd still have a Mon that's still available, and the fact that the Indie would have to target eventually, which means I had opportunities to maybe even get a Trick Room up potentially. I was not expecting them to have Heat Wave and Sludge Bomb, which ended up screwing up a lot of what I could do. Ursaluna, Dragonite with Sneasler, King Gambit, the Ninetales, Alolan form, and the Archaludon. All right, we have some threats that Dragonite is definitely terrifying. King Gambit's not bad here, but if we had Ironhead, this would probably be a lot more reasonable to bring it. I don't know. Are they going to bring the Ninetales, I guess is the question. I like the idea of getting Light Screen. Actually, Light Screen's useless. Well, it's not too bad. It's good against our Caledon. Can I get Trick 'em up safely? Because they're usually like, what, Tailwind on the Dragonites on these teams? If it's Tailwind Dragonite, I could probably play around it. I actually like the idea lead of Klefki plus Blaziken. It's only weak to Dragonite, and it should be like Tailwind Dragonite, so I should be okay. In the back, I'm going to do Blood Moon, Ursaluna, and Primarina. I need as much damage as I possibly can. So Trick Room is going to be really important here in this matchup. I need Trick Room. There is a world where either Blaziken goes down early so I can get like a Trick Room sweep, or I can clean up with Blaziken in the late game by preserving it. Like if they leave Dragonite and I switch into Primarina on a potential scale shot, that would help out a lot. But I have no idea what the flowchart's going to be here because I have no idea what the sets are. The only thing I can reasonably assess is most likely it's just going to be Tailwind on the Dragonite. Because Ursaluna without Tailwind or any form of speed control sounds nuts to me. Sounds nuts to me. Like, I think Ursaluna is a Pokemon that absolutely needs Trick Room, especially, or Tailwind, or any speed control. Especially if it's the regular form and not the Blood Moon form. Ursaluna Dragonite does lead here. Okay. Versus Klefki and the Blaziken. Oh, this is a weird spot. Do I want to Terra Water here? The Klefki? I do think... Alright, I do need Trick Room up. I might have to go for Terra Water here because this is probably Headlong Rush. I'm going to Heat Wave here for damage because I could see this being like Terra on the Ursaluna and them going for a Headlong Rush or Earthquake combination. So let's see. They do Terra to Ursaluna into Terra Ghost. Yep, that's what I expected. So I did Terra Water to Klefki. We also confirmed the Ursaluna is fast because it did Terra before my Klefki. So the Ursaluna does have quite a bit of speed. All right, Terra to Klefki. I guess the question is, am I faster than the Dragonite? Because I would like to get the Heat Wave and break the multi-skill off before. Oh, please tell me I hit the Dragonite at least. Okay. Obviously, I would have liked to hit the Ursaluna. Granted, I still think this is okay. They actually go straight for the Tailwind first. Interesting. They go for Earthquake. Sure. All right. I don't think... I mean, I don't hate this position. I don't like it either. But this is acceptable. Because I might be able to sweep with double... Hyper Voice combination. I would have liked to hit the Heat Wave on Ursaluna though, because it might have put it in range of like any other attack that I had. But let's go for... I don't think I need screens up. I would rather have a Metal Sound to pressure the Ursaluna. So I'm going to go for Metal Sound into Ursaluna, and I'm just going to go for a Heat Wave. I'm probably going to go for Extreme Speed Facade, or they're going to go for Double Protect. Double Protect is less ideal. I'd rather them take the KOs here. They don't have any Terras remaining. I'd had 3 turns of Trick Room to play around. Definitely manageable, especially since Tailwind Dragonite doesn't run Protect usually. At least I don't think they do. They go for Extreme Speed. Yep. I don't want to switch out here. It's very bad if I switch. I'll Metal Sound because I could force the Ursaluna out potentially. Question is, do I have enough firepower? I just don't know. Facade into the Klefki. We'll pick up the knockout. I kind of want to Blood Moon to Dragonite and Hyper Voice to Ursaluna. Since the bear is fast, it might not have enough bulk to be able to take a single target Hyper Voice since it's -2. If I get the KO on the Dragonite, the Blood Moon will KO the Dragonite, the Hyper Voice a single target. I think that's better. So I'm going to go for a Blood Moon and a Hyper Voice. Let's see. Does the Dragonite have protect? Ursaluna, I feel like could protect or switch out. Either one's fine. But if they both attack, I'm pretty sure that I get a double knockout, assuming Hyper Voice KOs to Ursaluna, which is single target, but we'll find out. If Dragonite has protect and goes for an Ursaluna attacks, then we're in trouble. We are in massive trouble. But let's see. Ursaluna protects. Okay, did the Dragonite protect as well? Okay, we do get the KO onto Dragonite at least, so it gives them very limited options of picking up K, or limited options of stalling out this Trick Room. So that's nice. The problem is I didn't get my Throat Spray active on my Primarina, but this is still pretty decent. All right. Moonblast would have been more ideal, of course, than just a Hyper Voice, but I really want to get my Throat Spray and cover for a switch, but this still works out. Sneasler coming in, okay. I want to say Hyper Voice Moonblast KOs Ursaluna, like both of them do. So if they fake out to stall out the Trick Room turns, then I think this is okay. Gonna go for the Moonblast, gonna go for Hyper Voice. I already revealed my Terra. I guess they don't know if I have Covert Cloak on one of these Pokemon or not, but I'd probably fake out if I was them. If they stay in with Ursaluna and don't click fake out, I think Hyper Voice KOs to Ursaluna, and then the Moonblast gets redirected into Sneasler if it's, and then I get the double knockout. So they got to play a bit cautiously here. And I'm going for Moonblast because I'm making sure I get the KO on Ursaluna, because Spread Hyper Voice probably doesn't pick up the knockout. They go for fake out. Beautiful. Ursaluna flinches. Get the Moonblast into the Ursaluna. Picks up the knockout, as I mentioned before. Excellent. Okay. What's the last? Can we win? It really depends on if the Sneasler has Protect and what the last mon is. Ninetales. Usually Ninetales don't carry Protect. I'm going for the blood. Oh, I just... Wait. Oh. No, I got flinched earlier, but... Oh. I thought I could Blood Moon to Ninetales. No, that's bad. What's the hope here? I don't think Hyper Voice plus Moonblast is K... What a KO? The Ninetales? I think it's very unlikely. I think I have to go for it though. I think Sneasler probably has Protect on this team. I think I go for the Ninetales. Oh, they have Protect on Ninetales. Did they just have double Protect? Because then I just lose anyway. They did have Protect on the Sneasler. I could just double Hyper Voiced him one. I knew I had to go on one of them not having Protect. But that is awful. Dire Claw. I guess the poison on top of that, but I still lose anyway. Oh, man. I'm kicking myself for that one. Granted, I think if I hit the Heat Wave into Ursaluna earlier, I could have just Hyper Voiced instead of Moonblasted that one turn, and the game completely shifts. But yeah, now I can't win. I think my plan was fine. I did have to hit the first Heat Waves, and I would have been okay. Maybe I could have like Moonblasted the Dragonite so I didn't have to waste a turn. But yeah, I just don't know. All right, let's go over the games. In game one, a strange rain team, but was able to set up the light screen with Klefki and do a lot of damage with King Gambit as the lead to set up Trick Room later on and do a lot with the Metal Sound Hyper Voice combination. In game two, a decent start getting the Sarilege to Terra early, and then the combination of attacks from Ursaluna and Primarina was able to overwhelm my opponent under Trick Room. In game 3, Klefki too good with being able to set up a perfect board state for my Blood Moon Ursaluna to sweep the team. In game 4, our Trick Room is a bit rough, but I was able to sequence well with Klefki, utilizing Light Screen and its Terra to help position Ursaluna to survive the Torkoal Eruption and clean up the endgame. In game 5, Metal Sound and Misty Terrain were really hard for my opponent to stop, and eventually was able to break through their bulky team. In game 6, maybe the Terra Ghost on Ursaluna wasn't a great idea, as apparently I needed the Water Terra on the Klefki, but was not expecting the 2 attacks wheezing, which messed up my plans since it could hit both Klefki, preventing the Trick Room after that Armor Reach follow-up, but also the Primarina with the Sludge Bomb, which if it didn't have either one of those, I would have actually still been in a really good position to win. In Game 7, had to gamble on one of the Sneasler or the Ninetales not having Protect, but apparently got the mind game wrong, so needed to double Hyper Voice to win. If I had hit the Heat Wave earlier on Blaziken onto the Ursaluna, I think Hyper Voice would have been enough to knock out their Ursaluna without me having to go for Moonblast instead, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Overall, team is pretty interesting. I think Klefki, I did almost bring Klefki to the first regional Gen 9, and I think that Trick Room buff on Klefki was incredible. Steel Fairy is a great typing. Screens are always incredible. Like Metal Sound, if it was just a bit more accurate naturally and you didn't have to run the wide lens, it would be really amazing. Misty Terrain's a great move, especially with Dire Claw and Spores in the format. Like, I think Klefki is a good mon. I just wish it had a bit better stats, but otherwise I still think it's a great mon in general. The Blood Moon Ursaluna, the Primarina, the combinations, we saw how powerful it can be. The Blaziken, maybe a little bit on the weaker side. The King Gambit was interesting. Noivern, I don't know. I think just Noivern's stats just always disappoint me. Like, it's got great speed, but everything else is just so disappointing whenever I use this mon. It's really situational on this team as well. Like, I don't think I featured Noivern and it really doing too much, so just wish Noivern could have a bit better utility, but that's how it is sometimes. If you'd like to check out the details of the team and the creator, they'll be linked in the description down below. If you'd like to try out the rental code, it is on your screen. Hopefully it's still available by the time this video comes out. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content as always.